still looks at us, and to tamper with it, we all want to tiptoe and put golden gloves when we begin to talk about these real issues that matter. Come with me, ladies and gentlemen. We only have 3 things to discuss. Number 1, it is water. Number 2, it is land. Number 3, it is air. That's what we are made out of. And that's what gives us legitimacy to stay on this earth. Every one of us, we have a right to clean air. Every one of us have a right to clean water. Every one of us have a right to land. So we don't have all these ministries, beautiful and cosmetic as they are. Minister of what, minister of what, minister of what, minister of what. Oh, they sound very nice, those things. You only have one ministry. Come on, say after me. How many ministries? How many ministries? And that is the ministry of land. Because in ministry of land, agriculture is there. In the ministry of land, water is there. In the ministry of land, roads is there. In the Ministry of Land, infrastructure and housing is there. In the Ministry of Land, mining is there. In the Ministry of Land, agriculture is there. If you don't have land, what are you ministering? I mean, we can tiptoe around this thing until the cows come home. The Namibian government, through the SWAPO Liberation Organization, need once and for all to look at land as the real ministry, and all other ministries can wait. Even energy is founded on land. Without land, how can you harvest solar? How can you harvest oil? How can you harvest water to generate the power that you're talking about? So land is critical. Hear me as I'm looking for a landing strip, ladies and gentlemen. When we have these ideas, we are going to be spending $500 million. Congratulations, Honorable Minister. $500 million going towards agriculture. Oh, put your hands together. Ah, wow. Now stop and start crying. 70% of that land is still sitting in white hands, so the 500 million is going to who? Where is it going? And again, before you get discouraged, as Africans, remember, you learn from your neighbors. I'm coming to you from a radical space of Zimbabwe. Now you have an option, because South African policies of land are affected, number 1, by Germany, number 2, by South Africa, and your own Namibian policies. Shame to say, South African land, 72% of that land still lays and sits in white farmers. In Namibia, you're at 70%. So when you look at yourself in terms of land, just consider that you are exactly where South Africa is. I'll address you as politicians. Because of the golden gloves around land, ANC broke into pieces. UDM, Likota's party, what do you call it? COPE. After COPE, EFF. After EFF, MK. And you go to the manifestos of all these political parties that broke away from ANC, it was one single issue, that they are not willing to address the issue of land. Namibia, you are not far from that. I see lots of young people beginning to look for change. They're not looking for change. It's because you are being gentle the way you look at this monster. So I'll give you a quick solution. The quicker you address this issue, the better. Follow me carefully. We are going to do everything according to the rule of law. Congratulations. Whose law? The same Roman Dutch law that sent you to war is the same law you are trying to implement to fix it. Now let me teach you something like a criminal. Use the law, but use it to your advantage. This is how you do it. I'm telling you a strategy like a serious criminal. You agree that we are going to buy all the land from you, but we are going to pay you only to the developments that you have done. But we are going to deduct the destructions that you have done. And we'll give you the change. I mean, that makes sense. We agree. So you found our land virgin. It was clean. It was productive. You have worked on it for 50, 60 years. You've put fertilizers. You've polluted the rivers. You've what. The quality of the land that you found, vis-a-vis the quality of the land that we are now buying, cannot be at the same price. So we agree to the 3 million purchase of your farm. We deduct siltations, salting of the land, destruction of nature, and etc., and we give you the change. And then we can decide how much can we pay you for what you destroyed. I mean, if they use the law, because for me it's clear, if you take away the law, the land without law, how can we use law to take it back? It was taken without law. In our own way in Zimbabwe, we would take it back without law. That's fair, unless there were treaties that were signed for you to take it by law. What am I talking about? When it comes to the issues of land, Zimbabwe, we took a radical land reform program. Follow very carefully. We got tired, 25 years of being lied to by the British government. We are going to, when they were using our land as a retirement package for their soldiers from the British Army. And they lied for 25 years, hoping that in 25 years, Mugabe will be gone. They were disappointed. The man was still alive and he was there. And the promises they'd given him were not fulfilled. So it became a mess. The soldier said, if you don't give us land now, you and Britain are all going out. Mugabe had to make the U-turn in his policies and look at Tony Blair and says, Tony Blair, you can keep your Britain, I'll keep my Zimbabwe. But that was under emergency. They grabbed the land. I'm being very frank, very frank. They grabbed the land. Unfortunately, our brothers, being our brothers, they distributed the land amongst themselves. It trickled a little bit to the bottom, but the rest of them, the generals and the army, some grabbed more than they could need. And up to now, chased the white people out of the economy, and our food basket went down, our economy went down, sanctions followed us, and for the rest of this generation, you have known Zimbabwe as a junk state because of that. Now, you are Namibia, you are smart, slightly smarter than us. So I'll give you a 5-year to a 10-year plan. Start a vigorous agricultural training program for your youth. Stop talking land. Stop. Just stop. Don't make noise for these white guys. They will wake up. But I'm giving you a strategy. For the next 5 to 10 years, start developing serious commercial farmers who understand the agro-business, from soil to plants to animal husbandry to what, who understand it fully. Then take the communal land that is now available, experiment with them, teach them, let them know how to do the food security business. Remember, guys, the guy who feeds you controls your mouth. You can't talk too much. If you are borrowing food from me, and remember, food is now being used as a weapon. So they will control your food, as they did in other countries and as they are still doing now. So have an educational program first. So it starts off with your educational system. Develop agricultural institutions as SWAPO, vigorous ones. Then slowly, when they graduate, these kids, start putting them on the farms. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, your first graduates, you can begin to approach critical farmers and purchase those farms. Because chasing them away without a long-term plan, you may have to follow the path which Zimbabwe did. The Zimbabwe model is perfect, except that it was rapid and it did not meet up with a properly planned educational system that will be able to protect the stomachs of the people. But while I'm saying that, our stomachs are captured and they are colonized. We need to liberate ourselves from our forks and knives. Because poor agriculture gives us poor health. And poor health feeds into our health system. And all these GMO foods we're talking about in terms of land, we need to liberate ourselves and start going back to organic farming, indigenous seeds, small seeds. Our parents did not have water shipped around where we need more trucks to carry water. They were staying where they were staying and they had access to water. But when you moved them away from where they were, now you need to move water to where they are, which is not practical. So we need to start looking at vigorous ways of violently, vigorously transforming this mindset, particularly as a ruling party. And SWAPO, hear me well. Stop acting like an opposition party. You are a ruling party. You are not an opposition party. Set the agenda items loud and clear and let the rest of the nation follow your agenda as a nation and a ruling party. You don't have to constantly apologize and saying things to correct things. You are the leaders. So map the path, and the rest of the political parties and these ones who are backing on the side, they will follow your lead as you are the leaders yourselves. In conclusion, let me sit down, otherwise I'll talk until the cabs come home. You need to, again, lastly, to benchmark your land reform strategy and go to China, learn from China. No one owns land in China. The government owns land, we give you lease agreements. When you die and the lease expires, the land flows back to the owners, who is the state. Tanzania, Britain, you can own a little bit of what the Queen does not want, but the rest of it belongs to the crown. And if you don't like Britain, you can lift your house and go. The land remains as a property of the Queen. What is above your house belongs to us. What is underneath your house belongs to us. You only own what is on top of the house, which is basical. That is Britain. You visit UAE, Dubai, the king owns the land. Mine and etc. We belong. So, guys, this whole thing of democracy is a smokescreen of lies. Because even in countries where they are claiming democracy, they are enjoying more freedom in Africa than we can enjoy in their own country. And I don't know why we are so much scared of dealing with the devil once and for all. And you tell this message to all my white brothers from Germany and from South Africa. If you are not careful the way you handle land, you are going to leave your children with a snake in the back. Because these young people you see here, one day when they wake up and they ask each other, where is our land? After being to Australia and they are told you are an illegal immigrant. They go to America and they are told you are an alien. They go to Britain and they are told you are a foreigner. And they come back home here and they are landless. Your own children, you will turn in your grave as our children will start victimizing your children. If you are smart enough to hear a fool, start making arrangements to relinquish some of the land into the black hands, to diffuse the anger of the people. Use democracy to bribe them and be nice to them when they can still listen. Because time will come when you will want to talk and will not want to talk. You will want to negotiate and will not want to negotiate. Maximize on time. And as far as land is concerned, gentlemen, we don't have to apologize for what rightfully belongs to us. The African does not own his land. The land owns him. From it we have come. To it we shall return. I owe my allegiance to the soil where I come from, because soil is spiritual. That's where my history is. That's where my forefathers are buried. I eat from it. I drink from it. My history is written in the land. And whoever owns my land owns my blessings. Because when it rains, God has blessed me. If I don't have access to land, I don't have access to existence. Therefore, every man must have two wives. The first wife is land. And the second wife is the one who will make children for you. If you don't have land, you don't have a right to reproduction. Because you cannot sleep with your wife on WhatsApp. You can't sleep with her on Facebook. You need an address. You need an address. Land is the address that legitimizes even making children. That's why when lions walk around the bush, they lift up their legs and they mark their territories. And after they've marked their territories, then they start reproducing. Are animals now better than us? That we fail to have access to our own spaces so that we can reproduce after our own selves. I challenge SWAPO to deal with land issues violently. Take off those bloody gloves. Get down to business. But be strategic, be thoughtful, be mindful, be future-seeing, and put strategies that will work. But no matter how long you wait, sweet talking around land, it will boil down to one thing. Who will ultimately be the owner of the land? So I would want to respect that by policy. Let's keep the land as state land. Let people lease it from us as they work. And let us constantly be in control, because this is one of the only assets that we have as a nation. And if we must be sovereign, we can't have Germans here who have farms in our place and they're busy sitting somewhere. They don't even come here. They just send their friends to come and shoot some few impalas. And they convert some of the agricultural land into tourism plots where their friends can come and hunt. And they don't even pay the money here. Sorry, Honorable Minister. They buy the tickets and pay in Germany. Then they buy tickets to come here just to visit. The only money you receive, if ever they come, it's your hotel and your water. The rest of the profits of these farms, which are in white hands, the benefit is not even coming towards Namibian GDP. And we are making serious losses, both in terms of land utilization and profit realizing. And sooner or later, we must discover who is our enemy and who is our friends. This is how I want you to think. This is how I want you to feel. This is how I want you to do. Swapo!